Okay, thanks for joining us today. We are here to review the third of four sprints in the Universal Viewer community project, which is the website development project. I'm Sarah Wheel. I am the Scrum Master for this project, and I'm joined with my fellow team members, who you can see here, noted from across the world. So our MVP for this sprint was to present a set of design ideas, site structure diagram, basic interactive wireframe, the results of content discovery to stakeholders, and resolve DNS configuration issues. So more specifically, form a content team, complete a site structure diagram with description, design ideas board, hold and document content discovery sessions with users, create an interactive wireframe in Figma, and resolve our outstanding DNS configuration issues using the information we'd received during the sprint. So we start with the forming a content team. So we set up a new web content team on Slack and invited a few people to that. Our target was to have 6 extra people on top of the community, the project team working on this and the steering group, and we managed to achieve that. So please have a look at the UV Slack, and we would really like people to join us. It's web-content, and this will be to help us write content for the new website, whether that's documentation or other pages, maybe to blog about how people use the UV, etc. So we really would like help on that one. And anybody who can also help us with translation would be really welcome. And the next task we had was to complete a site structure diagram. So we started off creating, looking at the current structure. And then we worked through a potential new structure. And this then was developed over the course of the sprint using the feedback we'd had from our user sessions. And I'll ask Stacey to talk about that in a minute. But I think we managed to get to a point where we're fairly happy with what we have, at least to start with. So this obviously then informed our wireframe. And I'm going to ask Lanny if she'd be willing to come in and talk about the wireframe.
Yes, so Shara and I have been working on the wireframe based on the site structure documentation that Sarah just mentioned. And the main focus of the navigation menu is placed on the header panel, which is home, demo. If you click on demo, Sarah, if you don't mind, and events, documentation, and blog and community. Then the other content information, which is policies, contact us, accessibility, roadmap, and strategy, they are placed in the footer. And I think you can click this as well. It's clickable. Oh, is it not clickable? I think you have to refresh it or something. Anyway, I will share the link in a bit so everyone here in the call can experience or explore the overall navigation. If you notice at this stage, it's pretty simple because our focus is on the structure and the overall user flow. So yeah, that's for the wireframe. I'll share the link for everyone to experience the navigation overall. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And we used software called Figma. And James, do you want to give us an overview on Figma, what it does, what it's compared to, and how easy we found it to use?
Sure, yeah. So Figma is a design tool. If anybody's familiar with the Adobe suite, things like Photoshop and Illustrator, Figma is I guess, a more recent competitor to Illustrator, which deals with sort of typography and vector design. Its selling point is that it's collaborative and it's all in the browser. So you just go to a website and it opens up the file, like the one that Lanny's just shared in the chat. So you can be assured that you're all looking at the same document, basically, and make notes and collaborate on it. And it's really good for the kinds of things that we've been doing. So wireframes for websites. You can make even like full-blown designs for websites, and go through different drafting stages like this. Yeah, so we had some training on Figma a few months ago, and yeah, I think we all really like it. Yeah, it's very useful.
It was really useful for us. We obviously only have a wireframe at the moment, but we did create a design ideas board, and everybody put in their ideas using post-its or screenshots, etc. Links to Figma. So interesting things we found, like how people portray features lists on their websites, just design ideas that we liked. And we also, James designed us a set of fonts. So this is something else we'd like your opinion on. I don't know if you want to say anything else other than we have some font choices, James?
Yeah, I mean, these are just some different pairings for the text that's going to be on the website. It's all pretty generic. We don't want to be too, don't want to reinvent the wheel when it comes to typography. So there's a few options there that we've been discussing. And I think these are the ones we're going to sort of drop into place when we have the actual content and the site built. We'll be able to flick between these fairly easily and see what it looks like in situ.
So we're very happy to receive feedback on that one. We'll share the link with you for that. And obviously, everything was informed by the outcomes we had from the discovery sessions with our users. And I'm going to invite Stacey to talk to us about how that process went, how many sessions we had, etc.
Yeah, so this was actually really exciting. I don't know that we've done user research like this before, although I am new to the project. But we had 4 focus groups with about 7 or 8 participants from 4 of our different audience groups. We had created very drafty personas based on who we assumed our users were. And then we went in with these focus groups to validate our assumptions. We didn't have any surprises, I think. Thanks, Mia. We didn't, yeah, no surprises in what we found. What Sarah is showing right now is just a list of things insights, things that people told us, conclusions that we drew from them, and then recommendations that come out of that. In the last column, you can see some themes. There was a lot about research path. Like I go to all of the different places. There were a few requests for examples, more examples or clearer examples, or an easier way to get to the examples. And then the other thing that we found is that there's a lack of welcoming for non-developers. So the developers can't find the information that they need on the website, but the non-developers maybe don't feel as welcomed into the community. They think it's all for developers or technical people. And the other thing not related to like working with the UV itself is that lots of people said they wanted more information about how to get involved in the community, when the events were, how to get into the events, and those sorts of things. So that's a little bit separate, but also very useful information. And then we took all of this, everything that we discovered, and we had a conversation about it and threw it back into the site structure document and also the wireframes. So everything that we discovered in those sessions has been put back into the ways that we're thinking about updating the website and the things that we're going to do for it.
Thanks, Stacey. And obviously the personas have been adjusted and expanded on over the course of this sprint. And they may not look pretty, but we will have a more concise, better looking version of this on the website when it's launched. We'll probably do that at some point and share those with you as stakeholders. So if anybody would like to see the original uncluttered version of the personas, you're welcome to go into our Miro boards and we can share that with you if you want to give us a shout on Slack. So that was really successful and it's really informed where we go with the website. Do we have any questions about that particular part of our MVP at the moment? The wireframe, the sessions, the site structure diagrams, etc. Please shout out if you have any questions, as I can't actually see anybody at the moment. Oh, there we go. Great. And the remaining part of our work was to resolve our DNS configuration issues. And I'll ask Damon to come in and talk about why we had problems with that and what that's given to us as a community by resolving those.
Yes, so this was the last step in ongoing work. As many of you know, Universal Viewer for a long time was kind of a single developer-led project with the community growing later. And so part of this web sprint was making sure that the whole community has access to the resources necessary to update and maintain the website. We've been chipping away at it, and the last little piece of it was after last sprint when we got the domain names under our control. We learned that DNS resolution was still being taken care of by Ed's personal Cloudflare account. So we set up a Universal Viewer Cloudflare account, worked with Ed to transfer the necessary stuff there. And now everything is under the steering group's control. So if we need to change anything in the future about how our website is hosted, where it lives, how the domain names resolve, we can do that and we don't have to bother poor Ed, who's been very helpful, but is not always around every moment that we could possibly need him.
Absolutely. And I think that's given the team a really improved sense of ownership, hasn't it, Damon, over making future changes, and that we're not reliant on a single person, that the community really does own this now. So we're really pleased to have resolved that.
We can just do things. We don't need to figure out how and where to do them.
Yes, and the passwords and how we access them, etc. So that's really good. So we had a retrospective at the end of this afternoon, and we do have some actions to go forward. We need to be able to share responsibility for comms to increase engagement. We are completely reliant on one person to do that at the moment. So we are going to come up with a strategy and a backup group of people to be able to do comms. And that's across social media, across Slack, everywhere. And then we, as I said earlier, we're going to create a website version of the personas so we can share those with you. And we want to test on the font combination, so we'd like your help on that. And we looked at, do we have any further research questions? So we have questions like, how many people use the UV? How are people implementing it? Get more insight on how people actually use it, how often they deploy, do people install and never update, and increase the usability testing, what and how people use it. We also had a team goal to, because we tend to, because we use Zoom and it doesn't really have a calendaring function that's really functional, we tend to schedule workshops and discussions after our daily scrums. So it's not in the calendar. We do tend to forget, or people make other commitments. So we are looking at how we can improve that going forwards, and can we use our Google Calendar? How can we do it? So that's another thing for us as a team to look at next sprint. Does anybody have any other questions about this sprint and how we achieved everything? No? Team, do you have any questions for our stakeholders?
I have one. We've been talking about how to improve our comms to get more engagement. And I wondered if any of you had ideas about how we might make it easier for you or your colleagues to be more engaged, either in the Slack channel or the community sprint or however is easiest.
You're welcome to write in the chat if you have anything, or maybe add something on Slack if you have time to think about this. But that's an open question, isn't it, Stacey? We'd like to know how to better communicate with everybody.
I don't want to put PL people in the spot, but I can see some names of folk who aren't in the UV team who are here. So maybe do they have any reflections on like what drew them to this, and are they finding the calls useful? And maybe that will help other groups. And there's a hand up too.
Jared.
I'll come in there because you know we're trying to show engagement in terms of I work in National Library, I work with Sarah. For me, I don't need a huge amount of communication other than what Sarah will relay back to me. What I want to know is that are there any blockers? Are there any kind of budgetary issues? Are we missing our deadlines? That's really the communications I'm after in terms of these updates.
Great, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to suggest? Thank you, Gemma. Well, welcome. It's nice to have you here. And I'm sure you'll have more things for us over your, as soon as you start working on the outcomes for your part of the BL work.
I just wanted to add, sorry, I can't see where the hand is on Zoom.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm just gonna
Carry on.
But yeah, much like Gemma, I'm quite new to this, but I'm working on sort of the website redevelopment project for the main BL.uk website, and hopefully sort of phase 2 coming up. And we're very, very obviously keen to work with the Universal Player, but I feel like I'm quite new to it. So from my perspective, I very much need to then get a bit more of the background to the projects and probably come more regularly, I suppose. So not that helpful for the group, but yeah, it's very much I need to have a bit more background, I suppose, about sort of the status of the project, and access to that sort of comms would be really helpful, so that then I can know which are the most useful meetings to come to in the future.
How could we do that? Would having a section on the website that explains more about what's going on, would it be blog post? Would it be Slack? Where would you expect to find that?
I guess somewhere just that's in terms of sort of internal updates would be useful, I guess, rather than sort of public, but just so that somewhere that's easy to access, and an overview for all. Obviously, we don't use Slack generally, but very happy to use Slack because lots of people use it for other projects, and the agencies we work with often use it. But I think, yeah, somewhere that's sort of centrally updated. Like we use obviously our internal SharePoint and Teams, but I don't want to make any project team go and have to use that. So I guess wherever is the most easy place to access for all.
Great, thank you. I'm sure we'll be in touch to ask specifics, ask you to road test and things for us. That'd be wonderful. Mia.
Yeah, thanks. I think agreeing with Sarah that like an overview of what the different calls are, and maybe including AAAF calls in it as well, just so that people who are coming, you know, they might have heard the Universal Viewer or the Universal Player talked about, and they want to find out what's possible generally when you start doing AAAF stuff, because you get all that for free if you do UV, well, mostly. And particularly if there are calls where things are being demoed and there's points for feedback. But I think maybe also, yeah, going back over that kind of history about, you know, here's one cool thing that you might not have known about the UV. Like we talk about download, and here's why people do it and different ways, like just providing a kind of, here are the things that draw people to the viewer, that so you don't feel like you're joining a conversation halfway through, but you're getting some of that intro stuff as well. And I guess, yeah, that the Stacey's identification of the website not particularly welcoming people, and making it totally cool to arrive without any context, and also not really welcoming developers. So you kind of already got that on your roadmap. But I was wondering if like short, sharp newsletters might be good as well, that just talk about like, here's one feature that's been around for a while, but we know that there are always new people, so they might not know about this, or kind of like, did you know kind of thing, as well as, you know, if you've got strong thoughts on typography, here are choices to vote for about the fonts for the website. I don't know, it's just some idea.
Absolutely, yeah. We definitely have discussed quite length, well, not the content, but the concept of having getting started sections for different groups of people. So it would, you know, getting started with implementing the UV and you're just wanting to know more about the UV. So all of this is great, and it's all the kind of things we have been discussing and we had fed back to us. So yeah, that's great. Thank you, Mia. That confirms, you know, what we've already looked at. Anybody else have any questions?
I mean, I'm another BL person. I'm too close to the team because I'm in the digital research team, but and I know the history of the viewer. I was just wondering, sort of the blog feature, how are you going to use that? How are you going to promote it? And yeah, I mean, is it going to be more about the technical work or projects or
everything?
Everything. Yeah.
We're
Do you have a
hoping-
plan for that, or is it just like beginning to emerge?
We're beginning to form a plan for that, yeah. Our main idea was to have a mixture of institutional guests, so how people are implementing the UV across their institutions, news from the steering group, news from the community call, so actual developments, technical, you know, everything will be of interest to a group of people, wouldn't it? You know, we might have in-depth technical blog posts, we may have, you know, somebody from a content perspective, how people are using it, etc. So hopefully we would really like a broad group of people. So that not only appeals to lots of people, but it also spreads the load, doesn't it? You know, we're not reliant on this small set of people in the community to contribute those. So, you know, it'll be great for all the institutions, and that's one of the perks of being a steering group member, isn't it, really, to be able to promote your own institution within this project and vice versa. If you have any other ideas about that kind of blog posts, I'm sure we'd be only too happy to stick you. When we have a blog post channel, we'll be only too happy to add you to that, or anybody from any institution, really.
Great, thanks.
Thanks everyone for all of your input. That was very helpful. A lot.
Yeah, yes, Katie. I'm sure James will be looking at those fonts. Probably accessibility is one of our main. Is part of our main. I can't think of the word. It's part of the roadmap anyway, and we do try to think of accessibility first. So. Are there any other questions we have? Yes, it will be interesting to see how other organisations implementing UV, and we hope to have a more prominent list of those on the website. So we'll have a more up-to-date, and we're also hoping to have a matrix of functions the UV will provide. So if you're an institution thinking of implementing the UV, you can go to that list and have a high-level overview of what the UV does in an easy to digest way, especially if you don't know much about the UV. So yeah, our getting started sections hopefully will be able to cater for beginners as well. Does the team have anything else they'd like to say? Okay, I take it from that silence that everyone's happy. Just thank everybody for coming to this. It's really great to have people from other institutions turning up as well. And if there's nothing else, just like to thank the team for another successful sprint. And we're going on to sprint 4 in next Thursday. We'll be starting, and that goes on for almost 3 weeks. Where at the end, hopefully, we should have a new website with some content in, ready to start the long journey to add in all the content going forward. So thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you in the next review.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone, take care.